Modern ambition is narrated as a story of breaking ceilings, but for a significant portion of people, the financial ceiling isn't something to break. It is a fixed, known line. This creates a distinct psychological filter. Where excitement or fear might be, the mind runs a logistical simulation first. The brain begins to categorize the world differently. What's possible isn't just a question of desire, it's a question of structural fit. Psychology has studied variable rewards extensively, but a perfectly predictable input triggers a different cognitive program. The mind, faced with a fixed variable, does something efficient. It builds a complete internal model of that known quantity. This model isn't just a forecast, it can become the primary architecture for imagination. This is the known quantity effect, how a flat financial line can reshape the terrain of thought. The common map forward is drawn with bigger numbers, more tabs, more sources. The message is constant. A good future is an expanding one. This narrative claims that security requires breaking through the ceiling of today. A fixed income operates on a different premise. The financial line is flat, not climbing. The common story has no chapter for this. A different, quieter narrative can form in the mind under these conditions. This relates to a psychological mechanism sometimes called the known quantity effect. The brain processes a perfectly predictable input differently than a variable one. When an input is fixed and known, the mind can build a complete, firm cognitive model of it. This model can be categorized cognitively as a known entity. It is already defined. But with a variable input, the mind cannot build a single fixed model. There is no stable shape to copy. So a fixed income becomes more than a number in this cognitive process. It becomes a structure. Gradually, and without conscious decision, cognitive processes can begin to operate from within that structure. Thoughts about possibility can begin to conform to that shape. It is a passive cognitive process. The predictability transfers from the external number to the internal framework of imagination. The future, as a cognitive concept, gets filed under things that are already modeled. A predictable structure can function as a perceptual filter. What exists outside the established model can start to appear theoretical. This manifests in quiet ways. A dream is assessed not primarily by its appeal, but by its fit within the known structure. Conversations about change can become conversations about calendar alignment. Entire genres of aspiration can begin to feel semantically distant. The cognitive category for possibilities may remain narrow. The category for constraints becomes more densely populated. Social life continues, joy occurs, but it exists within a defined bandwidth of the predictable. A small problem is not processed as a crisis, it is a predictable equation: drip rate, plumber cost, monthly margin. Exposure to high achievement content can lead to a numbing effect, where the emotional impact of comparison is diminished. The brain receives variable, exciting data, but processes it through a flat, predictable forecast model. Language itself can shift. The future tense can feel incongruous. The internal compass can recalibrate. Its primary orientation becomes reliability. Consumer worlds can split in two: the landscape of needs and the museum of wants. Anxiety, in this context, is not about wild swings. It is about the precision required to maintain the straight line. Mental energy goes into maintaining the known model, not exploring unknown ones. Within such a cognitive framework, a decision may be driven by the clarity of the known model. This is not a story about being limited. It is an observation about how a specific kind of predictability can reorganize perception. Research suggests that consistent external patterns can influence internal cognitive patterns. A steady, predictable rhythm can dominate the perceptual field. The structure is real. The predictability is real. Behavioral science notes that the perception of the future is a cognitive construct. This illustrates a cognitive process where the mind uses the most reliable available data to construct a predictive model. The cognitive map of the known quantity can become so detailed that it may function as a stand-in for the unknown future within one's mental framework. Within a psychological framework shaped by a fixed variable, that variable can serve as a foundational data point. This touches on a core function of mental models. They are simplified representations built from available data. The future remains unframed. Cognition operates within a persistent condition, the gap between the constructed mental models it relies on and the unknown, unfolding nature of time.